it's Miss Barbara here at the Riverhead Free Library, and we're here for another fun session of DIY Babies and Toddlers, where you learn how to make things from everyday objects, how to keep your toddlers and babies entertained and maybe even educated a little bit. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to do with kids, which is called sensory bags and sensory bottles. Now, I love sensory activities for kids. It's really, really important. It helps them in all their development, their cognitive development, their spatial development, motor development, so many things, language development. But sometimes you really just don't want to get that messy as a parent, and you don't want your place to get all messy. Well, that's where sensory bottles and bags come in. Now, this is a sensory bottle that I had made a while ago. Let me show you. Can you see it? Pretty cool, right? This could be a very calming experience, even for adults. Here's a small one that I made. Those are sensory bottles. But first, the first thing we're going to do is make some sensory bags. Now, all you need for that are Ziploc bags, different sizes, and different materials. Now, the secret to a really good sensory bag is the base. There's different bases that you can use. I love to use hair gel from the dollar store. It's cheap, and you can use it over and over and over again. And it's a lot of fun. So we're going to make a sensory bag that's going to be good for Halloween, since Halloween is coming up. We're going to open up our Ziploc bag, and we're just going to take our gel and we're going to pour it in. Now you can do just gel, or you could do gel with a little bit of water. I'm going to add a little bit of water. You can play around and do different combinations, which is what's fun. And it's not that messy. Now, I found these really adorable little Halloween erasers. And I don't know if you can see, they're like little pumpkins and Frankenstein monsters. They're really fun. This is something normally I would never give to a little baby or toddler because it's a choking hazard. But because it's going to be sealed up in the bag, I can put them in there. So I'm going to throw those in there. I love glitter in my bag, so we're going to put in a little bit of glitter. Just a little. And some food coloring. Food coloring makes everything better. I'm a big proponent of food coloring. So maybe we'll put a little green in there. Just a few drops will do. Now what you want to do now is you want to seal up the bag. And I highly recommend taping it once you seal it. But I'm not going to do that step right now. But when you're using it with kids, you're going to want to tape it with like washi tape or duct tape, something like that. Now you have this really cool sensory bag. Now, one thing you want to do, I'm going to put this down a little bit so you can see, is you want to put it down on the table, and then you're going to just open it just a tiny bit to let the air out, and then you're going to seal it again. And what's fun about these bags is manipulating them around. Can you see? It's got all those cool little Halloween shapes in there, and you can write. Now, you can have, this is something you can take with you in the car and they can play with it, which is kind of cool. You can always double bag it if you want to make it really secure. Can you see that? And it's just a lot of fun to play with. Now, one really good way to do this with babies or even toddlers is you can take the bags, and what you do is you put them on the floor or on a table, and you tape it down with tape all around so that it's taped down, and then it's secured to the table, and they can play with it on the table or on the floor. They can even do it with their feet. They can write with it. They can move them around. Really, really cool activity. I love sensory bags. Now let's do another one. This one, I'm going to put some shaving cream in it. Shaving cream is fun. You don't always want the mess of shaving cream. Whoa! I don't even know my own strength. Hold on. Boy, Miss Barbara's pretty strong. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your shaving cream and you're going to just spray some in there. Now you can put other things in there with the shaving cream, like, you know, if you wanted to, you could use some of these little Halloween erasers, or I have some buttons. Anything you want to put in there. Or I have some little pom-poms. You can put those in there. Put a few pom-poms in there. Just a few. And then, again, food coloring. Now, what you can do is you can do 2 colors if you want and let them mix, which is kind of neat to watch. Just put in a drop or 2 of purple, and then maybe a drop of pink in there. Seal it all up. Again, put it down flat, take the air out, and then watch this. It's really cool and therapeutic. And watch, you can see the colors mixing together. You can feel the different pom-poms in there. And if you have it down on the table, you can write, make shapes. So that is a very cool activity too. So really, sensory bags the ideas are endless. As many things as you can imagine, that's what you can do. You can also do a little bit of oil and water, or you can do that in a bottle. We're going to do that one in a bottle. Here is your handy dandy water bottle. Very easy. We're going to put a little bit of water in there. Put some water in. About halfway up. Then we're going to put some oil. You can use baby oil. You can use pretty much any kind of oil you have. I'm using Crisco because that's what I have here. But you can use any kind of oil. Baby oil is nice because it smells nice. But you can put just a little in there. Doesn't have to be a lot. Because as we know, oil and water separate. Then we're going to put in some, let's do some blue food coloring. Now, if you put in too much food coloring, it makes it really hard to see what's in there. So I'm just going to put like literally a drop or 2 in there. 1, 2. That's all I'm going to put in there. And I'm going to put a few of these pom-poms in there. Some different colors. And maybe some buttons. I have some buttons. We'll put those in there. Again, it's a great way for kids to be able to play with things that normally they wouldn't be able to play with because they're a choking hazard, but because they're in the bottle. Now, normally what I would do is once I close it up, is I would duct tape it, or even better, you can take a hot glue gun and glue the top on. So it's very secure, so that it doesn't spill all over, and also so the kids can't get into it. Now, just because they can't choke on this because it's in the bottle, doesn't mean you should give this to them and like leave them alone. Like, you're gonna want to be around them and keep an eye on them. But look at this. It's so much fun just to see the things moving around in there, in your sensory bottle. Now, this is a peanut bottle, right? What I like about this one is it has a really big lid, and kids love opening and closing things. So for this one, we're not going to glue it closed. We're just going to put, kids love dumping, toddlers especially. So we're going to put a whole bunch of these pom-poms in here. And close it up. Now, one way is just, that's fun, right? But what's really fun if you're a toddler is opening it, dumping them out, putting them back in. Part of the fun is opening and closing it. It's great for fine motor to practice this motion of opening and closing. Now, if you really want to focus on their fine motor, you can have them pick it up with a clothespin or a tong from the kitchen, like we did in another session. But that's loads of fun, dumping and undumping. Another thing I love to make is I love to make I Spy bottles. Those are really fun. You could do I Spy bottles or bags. Let's do a bag. So I'm going to take this giant Ziploc bag, and what I'm going to use right now is I colored some rice, and I'll put a link to how to color rice. It's just colored rice, and I'm going to put some colored rice into the bag. And what I added in this case is I put in some little plastic numbers that I had laying around, but you can use little tiny toys of any kind. You can use those little alphabet letters or toys. You put it in, close it up, and it becomes an I Spy, because what they have to do is they have to move the rice around and try to find whatever's hidden in there. You can even make a little card, and you can put the little objects that are in there, if they're little toys, or you could have them find the letters in their name, or try to find the number, age that they are. If they're 2, see if they can find the number 2. Look, I found a 5, because, you know, Miss Barbara's 5. But you can do that in a bag. You can also do it in a bottle, and you can make an I Spy bottle, and that's a really fun activity too. Now you can take a whole bunch of these different bags, like I said, and tape them down. Plop your baby down, and they can have hours of fun doing that. But older kids, you can take your bottle, bring it with them in the car to keep them busy. So those are sensory bags and sensory bottles. It's a great activity to do with kids. I'm going to put some links to some different ideas, but just go online. You wouldn't believe how many sites there are that have sensory bag and sensory bottle recipes. And again, just use your own creativity and you'll have loads of fun. So that's our DIY babies and toddlers for today. Thanks for joining me. Have fun. Bye-bye.